Yeah. So, there's some songs and yeah. I should talk about something like legit right now on this thing, but I don't know. See, but if I talk about political stuff, it's just kind of I don't know. I don't know. I don't really like political stuff, so I'm talking about things that I don't really want to talk about. But usually I have a point of view on politics, but it doesn't interest me to talk about it, so I don't really talk about politics. I think politics are for maniacs. Yeah, it's like about control. It's about controlling people. I don't want to control people. It's like money and politics, the two things that control people. Power. It's like money and power. See, politics is power. Money is money. Money and power. See, there you go. I just said something political or something. I see you people getting me to say weird stuff. I don't know. I feel always feel more content when I talk about music. Because music is not cringy. Music is always good. Music. Oh, movies. I can talk about movies. My favorite movies. Oh yeah, let's do like a favorite movies thing. Hmm. What movies do I like? What kind of movies do I? Okay, yeah, you can learn a little bit about me. I like old movies. Let's go back into the mist of time. I actually enjoy silent films like didn't talk. Phantom of the Opera, the original one from 1925 with Lon Chaney. That one's pretty cool. That and some other ones. I actually have Birth of a Nation. That's like one of the first films, and one of the first like mega films. That was like a big film, Birth of a Nation. That was about the South, and I had that on DVD. But that's it's an interesting film to see. You know what I mean? It's just yeah, very interesting. You gotta see it. I won't give it away, but that's an interesting film. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite films, but it's just very interesting and it's a good thing to see, especially in the annals of history, annals. But yeah, so I like that kind of stuff. But I'm not too big on no dialogue or reading, stuff at the bottom. Uh, because there's no sound, just music playing through the thing. But I do like early, I like the early kind of Universal monster films like Dracula and Frankenstein, and that kind of stuff. I love that stuff, and there's the pre-code stuff. A lot of good stuff. That early Barbara Stanwyck films, very good stuff. I remember getting it from the library and watching it, and I was like, this is actually really entertaining. I was like watching this and really getting into it. So there's one where she's this nurse, and then she gets, I forgot, I think she gets followed by someone or something. Yeah. Um, she works at this. She's like a night nurse. Works this place. She's very young in it. So yeah, Barbara Stanwyck. Yeah, her early films are great. I haven't seen them for long, but I watched them like about 15, 20 years ago, and I remember thinking these are really good. See, the thing is, I'm getting old, so I can't remember like the actual plot lines of these movies, but I remember enjoying it. You know, old. I'm still in my 40s, but it's just like sometimes I just can't remember some of the plot lines. Even like on like the Twilight, not Twilight Zone, but the X Files. I'll watch something and I go, I don't remember this episode, and I've seen them all like a bunch of times, and yeah, which is cool. It's actually cool because then it's like new to you again. So it's like you're watching it for the first time again. But yeah, so I like those old movies from the 30s. I like Mini on the Bounty. I like those old swashbuckler films from the 30s with Errol Flynn and Tyrone Power, you know, Captain Blood, and what's the one that Tyrone Power did? He did like one. He did like what is a pirate or something. It's a swashbuckler. I forgot the name now. See, I don't remember. Because I haven't watched these in so long, so it's like that. But I like those though. And the Seahawk, that's another good one, with Errol Flynn. And yeah, I like those. Then I like 94s. What's 94s? The film noirs. I like the film noirs. The Postman Always Rings Twice. Uh, um, Asphalt Jungle. Uh, Double Indemnity. Those are great films. So I haven't watched them in so long, but I love them. What else? So that's probably my favorite from the '40s, right? The '40s. That's probably that. So like those comedy films, Abbott and Costello, and the road pictures with Bing Crosby, Bob Hope. We're on the road to Morocco. That's those kind of films. I love those kind of films. Those so funny and they're great and they're entertaining. And yeah, the horror films, the kind of like the Frankenstein ones, maybe. Then pretty great. What else? What else? What else? What else? Then the '50s. What was the '50s? The '50s. What was the best stuff in the '50s? Was probably the B kind of. They came from outer space kind of movies. Those are great. The Forbidden Planet. It's a great film. I gotta add that on Blu-ray. The Forbidden Planet, because that's a movie that just I have to have on Blu-ray because that's a great film. One of my favorite films. So that's it. With Walter Pigeon and Leslie Nielsen. Yeah. So yeah. What else? Oh yeah, The Day the Earth Stood Still with Michael Rennie, with Gort, the Klaatu, Gort, Klaatu Barada Gort, and goes to the robot. Great film. The original one, Tom. Great film. Very good film. Well, I mean, when the first time I saw it, like, oh my god, this movie is just amazing. Good film. Great film. Okay, so that was, and there's a lot of great those kind of films, you know, from the '50s, 1950s, and so this, and in the '60s, what do you get? You get the Hitchcock films, you get the Birds, Psycho. I love Hitchcock. I love his films, and yeah, so I have all, I think I have well, most of Hitchcock films on DVD. So, and that was great. And then you got like the David Lean, Doctor Zhivago, Lawrence of Arabia, great films. Bridge on the River Kwai, great film. Um, what else is great in the '60s? Well, other great '60s, the Bond films, yeah, that was great. Sean Connery. Uh, I think of other great films. I'm gonna miss some. Actually, because I don't think these things out beforehand. But yeah, those like favorite. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Kubrick films. Yes, I love Stanley Kubrick. 2001: A Space Odyssey, Doctor Strangelove, Lolita. Yeah, it's great. Um, yeah, so those are probably the best from the '60s. And then who else? Then what do you get? And then the '70s was what? '70s, yeah, that's kind of the French Connection, The Exorcist kind of films, the Clint Eastwood westerns, which are great. I love Clint Eastwood, and the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and his spaghetti westerns. Those are like the best. All those spaghetti westerns were so great. I love the spaghetti westerns. The Sergio Leone. Um, what else? What else is great in the '70s? Great '70s films. Mm, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. What else? It's kind of films. Then you got the sci-fi films. You got Jaws. You got What do you got? Yeah. Then you got Let's see. Yeah. You guys. Then Kubrick made the Clockwork Orange in the '70s, and they did Barry Lyndon. That was in the '70s. What else? What else? What else? So I think like one of my favorite stuff is in each decade. I know I'm missing some. Oh yeah, you got the Hammer horror films. I like those in the '60s. The Hammer films. I like these horror films with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. I love those. Um, Italian giallo films in the '70s. Yes, Suspiria came out in '77. I have that on. Do I have it on Blu-ray? I think I have it on Blu-ray. I think I have it on Blu-ray. It's great because it was like in this bin at Best Buy. It was like cheap bin, but I was like, this looks really interesting. But it's like it has special edition and it comes with lobby cards and it's got an extra disc of just the music by a band called Goblin. It's kind of cool music, kind of sounds, like that was in the movie. Very cool stuff, and it's a great film. kind of got me into Italian giallo films. That movie, Suspiria. It's about this girl. This American girl goes to school, ballet school in Germany, and she arrives, and then the school is more than she's bargained for. What is the school? See, I don't want to give it away, but the school is not what it seems. It's something. Yeah. So yeah, and the strange things start happening. Yeah, she goes to be study ballet. Who else is in it? Joan Bennett's also in that film. So she plays the headmistress of the school. So yeah, Suspiria, and then it got me into like watching the other giallo. Italian giallo film. It's like, what is it? It's like this kind of Italian horror suspense kind of films that were made in the 70s and the 80s, and they were yeah, they're visually just amazing. Usually it's like dubbed, kind of like those spaghetti westerns were. So it's like, so obviously you can. How are you? Doing good? Kind of, no, it wasn't as bad as that. But yeah, um, so it's great. Yeah, a lot of good ones. Yeah, there's one Jennifer Connelly did with Dario Argento. One made in Switzerland. Yeah, I forgot. She's staying at a boarding school, and crazy things started happening. I think Donald Pleasance is also in that one. I think it's called Phenomena or something. I haven't seen it for a long time, so I think that's. See, I don't like retain the memory of all these things. I don't try to, I watch a film, but I don't kind of like remember everything about the film. I just watch it for enjoyment while I'm, don't kind of try to memorize everything. Yeah. Okay, now the '80s. Ooh, the '80s. Now that was like my childhood because I was like, I was like in my pre-teen years in the '80s. So I was like, so I was like, ooh, great. That's when I first came to America. So it was like, yeah. So you got E.T. That's a great film. That was the first one I ever saw in America in the theaters when I first came to America. So you got E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark. You got all these great action films like Aliens. That's a great film. The second one with James Cameron produced, directed. Yeah. The first one is good, but the Aliens, the second one is the best one. A lot of action, great film. Aliens, Predator, RoboCop. Uh, a lot of films. A lot of great movies in the '80s. This was good. Die Hard. What else? So many great films. Yeah. It is. Yeah, those Brad Pack films too. Hey, 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 blam, blam. Ooh. Dun, dun. Hey, 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 hey. I remember one time I was working at this one job. I was working with this guy at night, and that song was sticking in our heads, and every so and so was like, dun, 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 ooh. just out of nowhere, and we're just like, yeah, okay. We started singing, and then okay, and then like an hour later, dun, dun. Very inside joke, but it was great. Yeah. Um, so yeah, and then the '90s. What was the '90s about? It's like yeah, but the '80s had like a lot of good horror films too. Of course, you got the Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh my God, Nightmare on Elm Street. That freaked me out, especially that first one. I remember seeing it. I was like 10 when that movie came out, so it was like you like you see it on you rent it on video and you watch it in your friend's basement because you're sleeping over like on a Friday night. So you're watching it, I don't know. I just remember a lot of friends had sofa and TV in the basement. That was a thing. I don't know if people still do that. You know what I mean? It's like all comfy down there. They got the a mini fridge with a lot of stuff in it, food. Ordering Domino's pizza when Domino's was good. Yeah, back in the 80s. Yeah, it was a different time. I don't know. It was interesting. Yeah, and then you watch Nightmare on Elm Street and all those other kind of films. It's great. Phantasm, Hellraiser, all this kind of. Yeah. Oh, this video is just going on, and I'm just like kind of mumbling. I know I'm mumbling on this video. It's not going to be a successful video, but well, what's the criteria for success in my videos? No one actually watches them, so you know. Why don't they watch them? Not because they're not good. People just don't know that they exist. That's the thing. It's different like when people know you exist and they just don't care. They don't really, you know what I mean? It's like when you're a musician and you release an album and people hear it, but they say it sucks. It's another thing when people don't actually hear the album. Doesn't mean that the album sucks. It just means no one's heard the album. You know? And for me, it's like no one's heard the album. Yeah. But yeah, okay. So yeah, okay, that's enough. Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know. See, now this whole thing is boring now. I think on about movies now. Movies. Yeah, yeah, yeah.